A very good afternoon and many thanks for joining us on Live at 1. I'm Michael Njenga. The proponent of the impeachment motion against Devolution Cabinet Secretary Anne Waiguru, Mithika Linturi, says he will not withdraw the motion from Parliament despite a call by Jubilee Parliamentary Group meeting to have him drop the motion. Yesterday, a parliamentary group meeting by legislators drawn from the government convened by the President and his deputy had resolved to urge Linturi to drop the motion.
Igembe Member of Parliament Mithika Linturi, the legislator behind the impeachment motion against Cabinet Secretary Anne Waiguru, seems to be undeterred. Not even the President nor his deputy alongside his Jubilee coalition could dissuade him.
When the over 170 members of Parliament have signed for that petition, for that motion, you know, Mithika cannot just make a decision unilaterally without really having consultations. So as it is now, as it is today, the motion is on. There has not been any signs of withdrawal, and we are moving on.
Linturi, who accuses Waiguru of high-handedness, says he's just exercising the law.
I have never met her personally. I don't know her. I only see her on the paper. Right? I have never gone to any cabinet secretary personally for any assistance, and I don't think I'm going there any soon. Right? So there's nothing personal between me and her. We don't share boundaries, right? So the issue that the issues that I have with her are matters to do with the law itself.
Yesterday, the Jubilee coalition, during a parliamentary group meeting convened by the President and his deputy, had prevailed upon Linturi to drop his bid.
The Jubilee coalition as a family have urged our colleague, our member, the Honorable Linturi, to drop that motion. We have urged him to do that.
And so with Linturi's insistence, it remains to be seen what actions or options the Jubilee coalition is remaining with to salvage its first cabinet secretary who is facing impeachment. Alex Kubasu for Citizen Live at 1.
Moving on, Kenya and Uganda have launched a joint strategy to market Mount Elgon ecosystem as a preferred tourist destination. But for this tourist circuit to succeed, locals have been urged to support Kenya Wildlife Service and the Kenya Forest Service in conservation efforts. Speaking during a workshop organized by the Lake Victoria Basin Commission, Mount Elgon National Park Senior Warden Collins Omondi said also called on local communities together with relevant officials to embrace the regional integration efforts to make East Africa a preferred destination.
We've made some strategy on the ground. We've deployed our rangers strategically on those areas that we suspect that there is poaching.
The community health workers, based on their training, have been only offering health services, maternal health services, child health, family planning. But now we are saying the community health workers, when they go out there, apart from offering health services, they will also be able to offer environmental conservation services.
Moving on, an order has been issued banning sale of land in Mombasa County without clearance from the government. Mombasa Deputy County Commissioner Tom Anjere says anyone who wants to sell land must get the clearance from government officers from their area. He observed that some people who benefited from the recent issuance of title deeds from government were now selling their land at throwaway prices. Anjere spoke when he led members of the Nyumba Kumi initiative in sensitizing Kisauni residents on the importance of title deeds.
Formula imefanya kazi vizuri na pia ilipitishwa na bunge, kwa hivyo tunaona kwamba imefanya kazi vizuri, lakini katiba yenyewe inasema kwamba tuitumie kwa miaka 3. Alafu kwa sababu ndio tumeanzia, tuende tuna kwa wananchi, tuende kwa serikali za county, tuwaulize kwamba kwa maoni yao wanafikua ni vipi ambao wanaona kwamba tuendelee na hiyo tuko nayo ama tubadilishe.
Moving on, a section of leaders in Igembe Central are unhappy over destruction of forest in the area by officers from the Forestry Department. The leaders, who included Igembe Central Member of Parliament Kubai Kiringo, said it was unfortunate that the Forest Department had cut down trees through Nyambane Forest to pave way for the construction of a power line. The leaders, as well as the locals, say the forest acts as the only source of water in the region and that it should be protected. They appealed to both the national and county governments to intervene and save the forest. However, the Meru County Forest Director Evans Maneno defended the action, saying it had been authorized by the Kenya Forest Services.
Were they clearing the road, the path for electricity, or they were harvesting timber and wood from this deer forest? We have been talking of Mau Forest. We have been talking of other forest covers in this country. Our country has got less than 2% of forest cover. And those people who are supposed to protect this forest are the ones who are presiding and working in cahoots with those people who are who say that they have been given the license to harvest the timber.
And staying with county matters, the demolition that took place in Thika, Kiambu County and left over 2,000 families homeless has now taken a new twist after Thika Member of Parliament Alice Nganga yesterday presented a court order issued 6 months ago by Nairobi's Milimani Court barring the same.
A court order obtained by Thika Member of Parliament Alice Nganga has temporarily stopped demolition of houses in Kiganjo Estate, Thika, that left over 2,000 families homeless. According to the court order from Nairobi's Milimani Court, and that is backdated to January this year, the demolition is illegal until the pending court case is determined.
And I keep on repeating, if it is a proper order of eviction, where is the commissioner? Where is the commissioner of Kiambu County? Where is the OCPD? Akuja simame na hawa watu, aniambie tutafanya na hawa watu nini?
The case had seen the owners of a 5-acre piece of land move to court to challenge a man who claims to be the owner of the land and who had called for the demolition that has left thousands of families frustrated. Evelyn Omboy, Citizen Live at 1.
Welcome, Washmore. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Well, we have been moving with the motion. The motion has been set rolling for the devolution CS Anwar Igoro to be censured, and to bring us up to speed on this is Igembe South Member of Parliament Mithika Linturi, who has sponsored the motion. If we may say, a very good afternoon, sir, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Well, you're still defiant that, you know, the devolution secretary, Anwar Igoro, censure must move on. And one thing that comes into question right now is, how has she offended the Constitution?
One thing is, I want to make clear and correct your use of language, especially in terms of the use of the word defiant.
Yes.
I'm not being defiant because when you use the word defiant, it's like you may probably be trying to associate that, or to come up with a perception that, despite the plea by the Jubilee coalition, it's like I just want to not. I'm becoming.
and that's where I was coming to. That's the reason why I say that. But move on. Yes.
Yeah. So I honestly, I want people to remember that when I make a decision on certain things, I really stand by them. Yes. And most decisions that I make are properly and seriously thought of. And the problem I have, you know, I have a lot of respect for the president and his deputy, and the Jubilee leadership generally. And what I am looking at right now is how to reconcile my conscience and this book called the Constitution.
That's right.
Which you know very well I saw as a member of parliament to protect, uphold and preserve. And when you look at the oath of office that I took as a member of parliament, it's very different from the oath taken by the cabinet secretary or any other. So I feel that my loyalty, true allegiance should be to the people of the Republic of Kenya and the Constitution. And that is what I need. So in this particular matter, I am not being defiant. I think I am a believer in constitutionalism and constitutional democracy, where when things are put in law and knowing very well what a constitution is, then all state officers and state organs must be guided by the rule of law and by the constitution. So in this case, I have cited a number of areas where the cabinet secretary has offended the constitution.
That's right.
And these particular areas are areas that really completely touch on our conduct, or how she has performed business of the business as an officer of the Republic of Kenya.
That's right.
And I have also cited very well that under Schedule 3 of the Constitution, the oath of office that she took, I think, in my interpretation of the law and the Constitution, she has not lived to that spirit of the oath of office that she took.
Yes. And
why I feel really pained is because I feel anybody that has come to me, and I think the country must really understand that I'm under a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure from my colleagues, from my friends, from my seniors in terms of political leadership in the country.
Why are you under pressure?
Because they feel that everybody is telling me, drop this motion. So, drop this motion, let us not proceed with it. And now, I am trying to really ask everyone to reason out the matter with me so that we understand whether it is the right thing for the country or not, because this is not really a personal matter. It is, we gave ourselves a constitution. Many people did not understand the effects of the constitution that we are really giving ourselves. And this parliament, the current parliament, is different from the parliament we had last time, or the parliaments that existed under the one-party era system, whereby State House or the former presidents that used to govern under the own constitution or under will just call you and tell you stop doing MBCD. And without really reason, then even against your conscience and against the freedom of expression, then you have to do it, because if you don't, the next day that you find is that you are whipped from the party, and probably you get funny people coming up and you're out of office.
And that's the question I would like to ask. Of course, the Jubilee PG yesterday was held, and they came out strongly and said, you know what, we are requesting Mithika Linturi to drop this motion altogether, to just let this lady move on with her job, because, you know, most of the people who are against this motion are saying you don't have strong grounds. Are you not afraid to be de-whipped? Are you not afraid for any repercussions, especially from now the fact that you're in Jubilee also?
I believe in the principle of separation of power, where Parliament has to do its job, the Executive does its job, and the court does its job. And the law. Because if, for example, you want to de-whip Linturi for really doing what is really supposed to be doing by the law, then in my view we have a recourse, and that's why we have our legal system. Because we will challenge the constitutionality of whatever kind of position that my party would be taking. And that would not really cow me, because I understand that if we are serious leaders, we must live by the spirit of the law and the constitution. And me, what I'm asking, if you feel that I do not have strong grounds, honestly and with your due respect, just like any other matter that has gone before the floor of the House, and knowing very well Parliament is a debating chamber, why don't you allow me to be able to prosecute my matter? Let me explain the country and the members of Parliament, and then take a decision. Why are you worried? This is not the only censure motion that has gone before the floor. Remember, we censored Kemunya in the last Parliament. I was privileged, and I thank the people of Ingbe South for having given me that opportunity. And this time round, the Deputy President then, William Ruto, our current Deputy President, was also subjected to a censure motion. We executed this thing. So this is a motion that can only be decided by the members of Parliament on the floor of the House. And I respect that there can be dialogue. We can sit down and discuss, but we need to establish that structure, or now we discuss on matters that affect on our performance or the independence of one particular arm of government and another, so that we do not get to a situation whereby the leadership of the government, the different arms of government, can sit down and conspire against the will of the people of Kenya. Understand that Article 3 of the Constitution says that the sovereign power belongs to the people.
Yes.
And that sovereign power can only be exercised through its elected representatives. And that's why in their own wisdom, they found that the power to censor, the power to impeach the cabinet secretaries, the president, the removal of any state officer from office is vested in Parliament, because these are the people that represent or have the direct power and power from the Wananchi. The cabinet secretaries are operating on delegated power from the president.
Yes.
And I personally would want to look at the merits of a matter and the real issues. I am not the one that says that cabinet secretaries are arrogant, because when you look at the law, there is nowhere where there is a provision as like for one to be removed from office, one thing that you must prove is arrogance. It is not there.
Yes.
So these are issues that I want us to become more sober, look at the merits, look at the substance, look at the evidence that I have, and then we can discuss.
Even as we look at this, first of all, I want to take you back. You say that you agree there can be dialogue. You can sit down and dialogue on how perhaps to get out of this, or how to make, what kind of dialogue are you saying that, what kind of dialogue are you saying that you agree there can be dialogue?
I agree there can be dialogue.
Yes.
And where I say there can be dialogue is, remember where this country came from in the year 2008.
Yes.
There was serious issues. And people prevailed upon the former President Kibaki and Raila Odinga, and sat and discussed and came up with the National Reconciliation account. And people were able to agree, people sorted their issues, and the country moved on.
Yes.
So I'm not trying to equate the situation we are in to that one, but I'm saying there can be dialogue, because one, people want people to understand, Linturi is somebody that is working within the confines of his mandate provided by law. And then Linturi, even being the mover of the motion, as I've said, when you look at Article 153 of the 152(6) of the Constitution and our parliamentary standing orders, I think it's the 6, 1, and 4, you can never get this motion to the floor of the House without the support of 88 members of Parliament. 88 must sign to confirm they are with you firmly on this matter. So when you tell me to withdraw a motion, in my view, that to me becomes a betrayal. If I do that, that will be a betrayal to the people that had confidence in me, people that believed in the course that I had taken, and people that knew that now we have a chance of prosecuting a matter. If that was to be done, then that can only be done with the consultation of the people that have appended their signatures and with their concurrence. We have eaten beyond half of the National Assembly.
So you have to bring all this and first of all discuss with
breakfast, sitting together, and see how you can be able to dialogue. That is how it can only structurally can only be done in the right way. But at the same still, you also need to convince the members and ask them or convince them why you are telling them not to do or to operate or to execute their duties as provided for by the Constitution, because whatever they are doing is within their mandate. So it's not a matter that Linturi can really make a decision on. I feel the president, I feel his deputy, I feel my colleague members in the Jubilee coalition. And why I'm telling them is let them give me time. Let us consult more widely, right? Let us work on, because this is not a Jubilee motion. Then there is a bipartisan or a cross-party kind of motion, because each one of us, of the parties represented in Parliament have signed the petition. They are ODM, they are WIPA, they are TNE, they are URP. So we can't just take it that lightly. And I don't believe the business of assuming the tyranny of numbers. Okay, we may have the tyranny, but we will not want to use the tyranny of numbers that we have to become dictatorial. I believe we really need to really caucus and discuss.
Yes, Mheshimiwa, as we wrap up, those opposing your motion are claiming that you do not have grounds enough. In the moment, or in case where you consult widely with the rest of the people who have appended their signatures and they say, you know what, let's move on with this motion, are you going to make your ground stronger?
Honestly, that is really laughable. I'm saying it's laughable because, you know, right now I'm a prosecutor. I believe in my case, I believe in my evidence. The only thing that you can ask or you can say is that because the matter is being prosecuted in Parliament, give me an opportunity to prosecute my case. Let Anway Guru bring a defense. Because that's the cardinal law, right? The rules of justice do not dictate that you can never condemn anybody unhand. And you should be given an opportunity to be hand. So if anyone believes that I do not have the evidence, I would really challenge him to show that I do not have evidence. And but two, I also, honestly, I feel for Anne. It is a lady in this country that we respect. I have not doubted her competence in terms of how she does her work.
Yes. What are you doubting? What is the bone of contention?
It's the procedure of how work has been done.
Yes.
Yeah.
There are two things: the NYS, the moving of the replacing of the NYS head, and the youth fund. Are these the key issues that you're looking at?
So I think those are very critical issues.
Yes.
And I have just singled out those particular issues.
Yes.
Because those are the issues I will be able to demonstrate to the nation and Parliament with documentary evidence. When I say this, MBCD,
yes.
I'm able to table documentary evidence. I'm able to read the Constitution. I'm able to read the enabling act of Parliament that says do MBCD, and where she has not done what I have seen. That I will demonstrate. But in terms of violations of the Constitution, there are around 18 articles of the Constitution that, in my opinion, is not faithfully executed, amended, in regard to what is provided for.
Yes.
And the other thing is that I am going to tell her I have personally forgiven her. And that's why I'm saying this matter.
Forgiven her for what?
I have forgiven her
yes.
because I would have been a very bitter man because she decided to make this matter political. When actually, to me, this matter was not. Because you remember, they funded a demonstration against me in Parliament. And I could see women calling me all sorts of names and saying I've been unable to address the Mira issue, and then I should depart and go back to Meru. You know, that was really insulting.
Yes.
And they also funded another demonstration in my own constituency to try and portray me in bad light in the country. You have seen the Njurin Cheke, right, come into her defense. So I have forgiven her because I think she must have been misadvised by anybody else. Because you know very well, a matter of this nature can only be handled, or you can only table defense in the Parliament. During Chega, you remember, I am a member of the council.
Yes.
But with all due respect, I think you also know during the agitation for this new constitution, they came out and said they are going to cast me because I opposed the constitution. You know, so and I told them off. Yeah, the Katiba is not about the Meru culture. It's about what we want to give ourselves as a nation. And when you elevate me from the village, from becoming a village elder, and take me to the national limelight, when you take me to the National Assembly now and become a national leader, I must articulate the national issues. So let us discuss the cultural issues when I come home. So that annoyed me, and that's why I went to the Vatican to pray, to seek guidance and power to forgive. Because to me that was very offending, because she's not a politician, and you advised her to demonstrate against me. I think I cannot be intimidated.
So you say you forgive her, and you're ready to sit down with the people who appended signatures, and you know, to the motion that you have brought, and if dialogue can come up, then you're ready to dialogue.
You know, I am a very objective man, very open-minded. If it is the wisdom of the people that have appended the signatures, I am willing to sit down and discuss, right? But the only thing I'm asking is how we get convinced, how we sit down now and conspire to defeat the motion, and that defeat will be going contrary to what I personally believe in, and also be contrary to what the Kenyan nation or the Kenyan people expect us as the members of the National Assembly. And remember, what we are doing today is that we want the cabinet secretaries, the executive generally, to understand that we are not living in the old constitutional order. This is a different country with a new constitution. Things have changed. Different power has been devolved. So respect what one is supposed to do and live by or within the confines of what your office entails or asks you to do, so that you do not get into conflict with anybody else.
Yes. Mheshimiwa, we can talk about this, we can really take it higher, but I would really like to appreciate that you came and put some few things on, shed some light on all these issues, and you know, as you said, you forgive and you're ready for dialogue. I think this is the way to go, and thank you very much for being on Live at 1. We really do appreciate. You are watching Citizen Live at 1. We take a short break. We'll be right back.